Oh boy, disclaimer.
Welcome one and all to Simpsons Treehouse of Horror Countdown Review. Continue watching, if you dare. Treehouse of Horror 16's intro is a blast. Kang and Kodo start watching an extremely boring game in the World Series. To speed things up, they blast it with an accelerate. However, even in fast forward it is still dull as hell, so Kang boosts the speed up to the max. Then the fabric of time shatters and the baseball players move so fast they turn into a vortex that sucks up the entire universe, including God. Also, I believe this is the first time ever the Simpsons actually show God's face on screen. With nothing left, Kang simply leaves a note with the title card on it. This intro is good fun, without overstaying its welcome. It's a nice commentary on how dull baseball can be, and has tons of imagination going into it. Kodo's sassy attitude is also priceless.
Smooth move, Space Lax! You've destroyed the totality of existence!
Hey, at least he left a note. Gee, I wonder what this segment is parodying. Whilst at Paddy and Selma's, Bart decides he's going to jump out of the window into their pool backwards because he's an idiot. It goes about as well as you could expect and he falls into a coma. To replace him, the Simpson family get David, a robot child who can pretty much do anything. Things are going well until Bart wakes from his coma and returns home to find he's been replaced. After he and David fight for others' affection, Marge decides that things aren't working out and Homer abandons Bart in the wilderness. That's just cold. Bart stumbles across some robots and that night steals their parts and turns himself into a giant cyborg and tries to kill David. Not gonna lie, this death scene is one of the funnier ones I've seen.
To get me, you'll have to go through your fault.
My main issue with this segment is it's just too much of a copy and paste job. Remember what I said at the end of my last review where the writers followed the source material too closely? Well, here's a prime example. Think about it. You have the ill child, the robot child called David, the jealousy. There's not enough new stuff in there to make it its own thing. The only real twist is Bart being deserted in the woods instead of David. Being honest, that scene always did rub me the wrong way. I know Homer has never been Dad of the Year, but abandoning his own flesh and blood like that is just heartless. What's even worse is how he tricked Bart into going with him.
We're still going to the toy store, right? And I can pick out as many toys as I want?
No toys!
That's cold as fuck. Seeing Marge's desperate pleas for Bart to wake up are heart-sinking too. I find this segment is surprisingly emotional, which is a good thing. But sadly, there isn't really much there to single it out as an all-time classic. Being honest, I'll probably forget this one exists by the time tomorrow's review comes out. There's nothing overtly memorable about it. It also really lacks in the scares and comedy departments. David's death is funny, and seeing Homer with short little robot legs is a hoot, but aside from that, it's fairly unfunny. The ending is also cack. After Homer's robot legs break, he wakes up from his dream. What's with all the lazy ass dream endings lately? He then acts possessed to get out of going to work. Sure, why not? I'm giving this segment a 4 out of 10. With the exception of some genuine feels and 2 or 3 laughs, artificial intelligence doesn't have much to offer and is essentially a bit of a nothing segment. This is a segment which had huge potential and nearly succeeded with it. Homer and the rest of Springfield's finest are invited to Mr. Burns' mansion for a special hunt. Only they won't be hunting, they'll be hunted themselves. It's clearly inspired by the world's most dangerous game. There was a ton of potential here, and for the most part it was lived up to. The concept of a rich man using his power for his own twisted perversion is a good one when done properly. Mr. Burns, of course, fits the role perfectly, as does Smithers as his lapdog. This is Burns' best appearance in a Treehouse installment for a while. Shooting his lawyer after he draws up a legal document allowing him to do this is so cold-blooded I love it. Comic book guy's death is also hilarious.
5 minutes of running? Shoot me now. Boom, that broke the ice.
There's other funny moments too, such as Homer resorting to cannibalism after only 6 hours, Homer launching several characters through the sky, and Lenny's death vision. But sadly there is a major spanner in the works, and that's this crap. Why the hell does this segment have a sports cast based around the hunt? The World Series of Manslaughter? Really? It's just not needed. If this segment happened in the Treehouse 5 era, it would be dark and violent with absolutely no sportscast. All it does is distract you from the main story. This segment was dark and gritty, but this just depletes all of it. And I wouldn't mind this massive distraction popping up if it generated some laughs. A chuckle or two. A slight laugh. A mere smile. But no, it does nothing. And it pops up twice! The second of which is the end of the damn segment! The segment ends on an unfunny, out of place, pointless gag, if you can even call it that. It's a shame because this segment was really solid until it came along. Any credibility it was regaining was gone after it popped up for a second time. It pains me to say it, but I can't go higher than 6 out of 10. It has its funny moments and I love the violence, but so much of it was ruined by the sports car shit that it really drags it down. Finally, a good segment. Not that Survival of the Fattest wasn't good, but it had its flaws. I've Grown a Costume on Your Face, however, is brilliant. The citizens of Springfield have a contest for best Halloween costume, which is won by a witch. When asked for her real identity, she reveals she's a real witch. Because she is technically not wearing a costume, her award is rescinded and she's even sentenced to jail time for revealing a secret silliness. The witch, however, is unhappy and in revenge casts a spell turning everyone into living forms of their costumes. This segment is a lot of fun and the writers really worked hard to get the most out of the concept. It's nice to see how all the different characters experience their new ways of living. Seeing Snowball 2 use Marge, a skeleton, as a scratching post is hilarious. As a cat owner myself who has skeletons hanging in several rooms of my house, I can confirm this is exactly what a cat would do. Seeing Homer trying to drink beer as a headless body is pretty funny too. Also, Mayor Quimby dressing as the Mayor McCheese is an awesome pun. One really interesting idea is the split between characters that want to be changed back and those who don't. Bart loves being a werewolf whilst Mayor Quimby hates being a living burger. Seeing Flanders as a flower being pestered by Bumblebee Man as a real bumblebee is also a highlight.
Please change me back. This bumblebee has developed an unhealthy obsession with me. I don't want flowers, I am a flower.
Lisa eventually comes up with the solution. Seeing as though Maggie is now a real witch, she can reverse the spell. However, it doesn't go as planned and she turns the citizens into giant pacifiers. That's hilarious. She then flies off, leaving Mo to promote reading. Dennis Rodman also makes a cameo and his reason for being there is gold.
Dennis Rodman, what are you doing here?
Working off a speeding ticket.
I've Grown a Costume on Your Face gets a solid 7.5 out of 10. It's not scary, but it sure is good fun. The idea of the Springfield citizens getting together for a costume competition is a wonderfully fitting story arc and the imagination used was fantastic. Treehouse of Horror 16 is a disappointing episode, but artificial intelligence really failed to reach the mark and was a slow, dull load of nothing. Survival of the Fattest tried hard and nearly succeeded until that damn sportscast shit ruined it. And whilst I've Grown a Costume was great fun, it lacked all the stuff to make it a true classic segment. I'll give Treehouse of Horror 16 a 6 out of 10. It's by no means terrible, it's just a bit of a letdown. At this point the more original ideas were fading and the lazy parodies were starting to pile in. And oh boy, we'll get to that. And that's it for this video and this review. Do you agree with me or do you think I'm an hour short of resorting to cannibalism? What do you think of Treehouse of Horror 16? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for watching, I'll see you next time.